Welcome back to GB News Tonight with me, Martin Daubney. Now, GBN Tonight has obtained exclusive video. And that's from Mark White, our Home and Security Editor, that reveals the sneering way in which Sudanese small boat migrants are mocking the UK's generosity in providing them with plush hotel accommodation. Now, the videos posted after the latest record influx of illegal crossings will only fuel the calls for an end to the use of hotels for asylum seekers, which is costing the British taxpayer close to the merry tune of £7 million every single day. Well, to discuss this, I'm now delighted to be joined by GB News' Home and Security Editor, Mark White. Mark, simply breathtaking videos. You've got a multitude of them which paint a picture of a story we were led to believe, and people fleeing war zones. Mark White, it looks more like they've won the lottery. Over to you.
I think the important thing about these videos to try to get across is just the way in which they are done in tandem, really, with the people smuggling gangs who take these videos and then pump them out round the world on social media to attract even more migrants to make that journey from whichever country to northern France with a view to getting across the channel. And it also shows the increase in those who are coming from Sudan. We can show you the first video, which is a video that was taken on board a boat just recently in the last few days, and it shows the first person speaking is from Sudan. It pans round a number of others from Sudan and from South Sudan. You can see both flags are represented on the video that's been posted. Well, our contact who tracks these migrants right from their source countries through to northern France and across the Channel has been following these groups. And on that particular boat was one migrant from Sudan, the Republic of Sudan, who posted just hours, it seems, after getting into his hotel, a video where he's clearly quite delighted to be there. Take a look for yourselves. Well, I think quite aside from his lip syncing and dancing skills, the other thing to note here is clearly he's in quite a nice hotel room. This video is effectively saying, come here too. It's being pumped out by the criminal gangs, as I say, around the world. Well, our political editor, Christopher Hope, showed that very video to the leader of the opposition, Kemi Badenoch, a little earlier.
Can I show this video of a newly arrived Sudanese man who arrived in the past few days? He's dancing around a rather smart hotel room.
It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. That is not what the asylum system is there for. It is not there so that economic migrants from all over the world can come in and live off the British state. Taxpayers in this country, hard-working men and women, are paying for that. That is not right, and Keir Starmer needs to get a grip.
As we say, this was just one of multiple videos that have been posted in the last week by those who recently arrived. Take a look at another Sudanese migrant. And you can see the video just panning round there to show he's in his hotel room as well. Well, on the other side of the channel, our sources telling us thousands of migrants are now waiting to come across the channel for better weather conditions. We had 210 who came across today, but earlier in the week, those who are going to the beaches in Calais and in Dunkirk, in some instances, are being aided by the fact that there are free bus services for them. Take a look at this next video that shows the migrants on a free bus service to Dunkirk, to the beach there, and then on board the boat. So from bus to boat, and of course they are posting their videos all the way along that route. And just on Tuesday, when we had that record day of 705 migrants crossing from France, another video posted from one of those boats that made it. Take a look. Now that boat there was absolutely packed, and what was interesting about that video is you could see the emojis on the screen there, a British flag, a French flag, but also a Ninja Warrior emoji. Now that is important because that is the emblem that the people smuggling gangs use. So that shows this video has been taken and then pumped out by the criminal gangs. Then just today, as I say, 210 crossed the channel again, and even while they're crossing, they're sending out live video posts that are picked up by the criminal gangs.
قربت باصي فعلا درس ضدع شيطاني واغا شرف غني وسطايل القراني.
So a perfect day really out in the channel for these crossings, and you saw there one of the French warships that was escorting that migrant boat across the channel. And I think the important thing to get across in talking about the videos that are being posted by the migrants is what often happens is they get a discount on the price of their ticket on these small boats if they agree to post videos that the people smuggling gangs can then use as a marketing ploy to get more migrants to come. The British government have been warning of this for quite some time. They've been trying to get social media companies to be more active in taking these videos down, but it's a next to impossible task because these videos popping up all of the time.
Mark White, it's an astonishing collage of videos, excellent reporting on your behalf, and simply jaw-dropping that this is going on under the watch of a government which promised to smash the gangs. Mark, the gangs are laughing all the way to the bank. Mark White, the best in the business, a superb report today. Thank you very, very much for bringing that to us today on GB News. Let's get some reaction now from my panel in the studio in Westminster. I'm joined by the former Conservative advisor, Lauren McAvert, and also Labour Party activist, Chris Worrell. Chris, let's start with you. This is absurd. This is a flagrant violation of our borders, of our finances. We're sold the story that these are people fleeing war zones. Chris, that looked like a package tour.
Well, I mean, maybe Nigel Farage should have put those videos or pictures on the side of his bus. I mean, if he put no deportation agreement on the side of a bus for voting Brexit, do you think people would have voted Brexit? If he put open border experiment on the side of a bus, do you think people would have voted Brexit?
What's that got to do with it?
Well, that's why they're all here.
Talk about why these blokes...
Why are they coming over?
Who are... Now, 120 million quid went to Sudan this week from David Lammy because there's a war there. All the military-aged men are coming to Britain on a dinghy.
Yeah, but why are they coming here? We have no deportation agreement from when we withdrew from the EU, thanks to Brexit. So if we
You're blaming Brexit for this?
Yeah, 100%. That's why those smuggling gangs are sending them over. They know you can't deport them, so off you go.
You're blaming Brexit for those videos there. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm very serious.
That's because of Brexit?
Yes, so because we have no deportation agreement. That's why they can get sent over without having to be sent back.
So why are we seeing the same anarchy going towards Italy? Why are we saying the Mediterranean is the same?
Well,
in fact, it's not, because Giorgia Meloni, that woman who was in the White House a moment ago, is turning boats back. They're sending them back to Tunisia and to Libya. They're in the European Union. They're in the European Court of Human Rights. We're not. We're standing by and mopping this up every day.
If we were in the European Union, we might be able to send them back because we had
Italy didn't Brexit.
Yeah, sorry, Dublin Agreement allowed us to send them back where they came from, which is France. And the EU-wide resettlement scheme we could send to Albania and Turkey. That's gone under Brexit. So I'd love it if Nigel Farage or the Tory party had put that on the side of a bus. Because when you had a 52% to 48% voting to remain, you would have avoided
This was
All of that.
This was going on before Brexit.
Well,
it's
no,
got
it's not.
much worse since.
Oh, it has, yes.
It was small lorries before small. It was lorries before small boats. You can't seriously sit here, Chris, and say that these shenanigans in the Channel are because of Brexit
Absolutely.
and because of Nigel Farage and because of the Dublin Agreement.
Look at the date of the TCA withdrawal agreement, which had no deportation agreement. The smuggling gangs are selling the migrants. We can send you over there and they can't send you back. That is the biggest incentive for smuggling gangs. And its proof is in the pudding with these adverts for why Brexit was an absolute disaster.
Lauren, follow that. It's all about Brexit. It's all about Farage.
Chris is splitting hairs slightly on the definition of deportation here. He's saying we can't deport them back to France. We could elect to deport them basically anywhere else, and that's what the Rwanda scheme was looking to do. And I remember a really interesting piece of reporting that came out when the Rwanda scheme was first announced.
Two people got flown out.
In the Guardian, there was. I agree it didn't work, but the theory, the sort of the disincentive theory, was not a bad one. There was a Guardian journalist who went down. Let me finish. There was a Guardian journalist who went down to the coast and interviewed migrants getting off boats and said, if this was introduced tomorrow and you were going to be sent back to Rwanda instead of, the two he spoke to were from Sudan and Eritrea. And the Guardian journalist said, if you were to be sent back to Rwanda, would you have come? And they said, no, if we were going to be sent back to Africa, we wouldn't have come. There was a disincentive to a scheme like that, and it not going through has resulted in there being an incentive to come, because when they come here, we treat them well and we treat them humanely, and perhaps we shouldn't be doing that, but we do. And a large portion of this is in relation to our membership of the European Convention on Human Rights, which means we can't send anybody back. And it's exactly the same problem we had with Somali pirates in the Gulf of Aden 20 years ago.
Germany is a member of the European Union and a member of the European Convention on Human Rights. They're deporting Afghans back to the Taliban.
They have a different legal system to us.
Poland is a member of both of them.
They have a different legal system to us. They are allowed to interpret ECHR differently to how the common legal system is allowed to interpret it. It's why we always had a problem with the European Union legal system.
I don't believe that's true. We could. I speak to human rights lawyers all the time on the show, and they say if we had the cojones to do what Italy's doing, to do what Germany is doing, to do what Poland is doing, then we could boot these people out. But we haven't got the politicians.
We would need fundamental overhaul of the legal system, which we haven't done yet. It's not because of Brexit.
It is. We've brought in the ECHR into our Human Rights Act. The fact is like, why would you even talk about sending stuff to Rwanda? It's quicker, cheaper to send to France. We had that all before. It's been an absolute disaster. That is an advert for
Prior to
Brexit
Brexit,
failed.
we were not allowed to send every person who came here on a boat back to France.
If they're a failed asylum seeker, yeah.
OK, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much, Lauren and Chris. There you go. Learn something every day.